irony of it is, many times we think, oh, I shouldn't isolate, I should be social because it will help me be of benefit to people. But what you're actually doing is you're denying yourself the ability to actually be of benefit to people. Hello, guys, welcome back to my channel. So, today I would like to talk about the need we have for solitude as neurodivergent people. I was watching a video recently. The person was talking about how whenever they feel stressed or they feel exhausted, the first instinct is to self isolate, and that they believe it's a trauma response and it is something they're trying to change. Now, I'm the kind of person who encourages everyone to learn themselves, to try to grow, become better versions of themselves, and work on themselves, work on changing or improving things about themselves that they do not like. However, there are certain things about ourselves, especially if you're a neurodivergent person or if you have a rare personality type. There are certain things about us that are necessary for our sanity, they are necessary for our functionality. And those things might be odd or, at best different when seen from the perspective of people who are not like us, i.e., the vast majority of people in the world. When seen from their perspective, when looked at through their lenses, when looked at based on how other people live their lives, those things may come across as odd or completely unnecessary or even antisocial, but they are very necessary for us. One of those things is the need for isolation. One of those things is the need for isolation, and I am deeply convinced of this. The more I study people, the more I learn about humanity, the more I learn history, the more I study people in the past and even now in present, the more I learn about myself, and the more I work with people, I am convinced that self isolation is one of those things that we absolutely need. If you have a rare personality type or if you are neurodivergent, because we process the world differently, and the things that may not affect other people who are not like us necessarily negatively, rather things like noise, things like just light, extra light, things like certain smells, things like certain food types, hearing about certain things, just thinking about certain things may become very stressful for us. And those things contribute to not just stress for us, but it contributes to exhaustion for us, it contributes to burnout. And when we go through that over and over, we have to take a break and we have to recover so that we'll be able to engage in the world. Our bodies know what we need. Think about it. When you become sick, sometimes you begin to become thirsty. You begin to become thirsty because your body needs fluids. Okay, before any doctor even tells you, oh, drink water and all of that, your body knows it needs fluid, so you're going to become very thirsty. Your body knows what it needs, and wanting to self isolate, wanting to be by yourself, being unable to just summon the energy to talk to people, whether on the phone or in real life, being unable to summon the energy to put on your clothes and go for a party, during the weekend, being unable to even think about going up and going out with your friends to the club and all of that. Just being unable to do all of that is your body telling you that's not what you need, and what it needs is you being by yourself for that period. And you will see once your body is done getting what it needs, you will not have to tell yourself that, okay, I want to get up now. Like, you automatically just see yourself able to mix with people and pick up phone calls and actually think about texting people back and all of that, right? You will see yourself being able to socialize once more without even thinking about it or planning to or forcing yourself to. That is your body already having what it needs. But if you're still having to force yourself to socialize and force yourself to go out and force, and sometimes we do need to force ourselves because we have engagements, we have commitments, and all of that. But by and large, if you have the chance, if you have the opportunity, then and your body is asking for self isolation, your body is asking for time by yourself, then I don't see why you should not give yourself I don't see why you should not give your body what it needs. I genuinely don't. If I refuse to give my body what it needs in order to recover, then I'm going to be useless to people. I'm not going to be as useful to people in a way that I would like to. I'm not going to be as productive in a way that I would like to. The irony of it is, many times we think, oh, I shouldn't isolate, I should be social because it will help me be be of benefit to people. But what you're actually doing is you're denying yourself the ability to actually be of benefit to people. It's like a new mother who doesn't have any help and takes care of a newborn baby by herself. She doesn't have time to take care of her own needs. She's neglecting herself. She does housework. She has to take care of her husband. If she has children already, she has to take care of those children. And she takes care of everything. The only person that doesn't get care is her. And in her head, she thinks she's been a good mother and a good wife. And she thinks that just being there for everybody and neglecting herself is making her a good mother and a good wife. But what she doesn't understand is that when she pushes herself to the point of exhaustion and she breaks down, she's not going to be really useful or beneficial to her husband or her children or her baby. So by pushing herself and neglecting herself, in order to take care of everybody, she's actually depriving herself of the ability to be there for her family long term in a way that they need her to be. Does that make sense? So, when it comes to self isolation, it is something that we need. Think about history, like some of the sages of history, some of the prophets of history from from time back, engage in just taking time going off by themselves. And many of those people, I'm convinced, many of those people are neurodivergent in a way. And some of them are very sensitive people. And some of them have this very rare personality type that allowed them or that pushed them to go into that line of, that career path or that life journey. Part of the things they do, like part of their routine, part of their spiritual routine, is just being by themselves, to be able to think, to be able to reflect, and to be able to. Part of that is not just being able to be, it's not just for meditation, it's not just for communing with nature, it's not just for, communicating with God, it's not just for, um, you know, whatever it is. I believe part of that is to be able to recover and to build your energy back in order to be able to go back into the world and interact with people and be of benefit to people. And I think the same applies for us as well. So again, I'm not going to be somebody to say, oh, you shouldn't change certain things about yourself, but I would not advise it, because if you decide not to self isolate when your body wants isolation, then what are you going to replace it with? More socialization. Well, the problem with socialization was what pushed you into that state in the first place. And even if it wasn't socialization, if it was just stress, the stress came about partly because you were socializing. Okay, partly because you were dealing with people. That's why the stress came about in the first place. So, regardless of what kind of stress it is, it has to do with dealing with people in some way. It can be traced back to dealing with people. So, you need to be by yourself. No matter how little time you can get, you need to be by yourself for some time so that you can recover, so that you can have a clear head, so that you can actually have the energy to go back into the world and deal with people once more. And I believe one of the things that I did for myself that helped me with my emotional health, with my mental health, with self development, with growth, self love, etc. One of those things is self acceptance. What I know now is radical self acceptance. And part of that self acceptance, and I will talk about this in a future video, but part of that self acceptance is accepting certain things about myself that my body reveals to me, not questioning it, not seeking to change it, not seeking to deny it or to push it to a corner of my mind and pretend like it doesn't exist, or looking at certain things that my body tells me in it and then weighing it against what I think society expects, and then choosing to accept that part of myself or deny that part of myself depending on what I think society approves of or accepts. Like I stopped doing. I used to do those in the past, and I suffered for it. And one of the best things I've ever done for myself is accepting myself in its totality. Yes, there are some things about myself that I learn, and that am not very proud of and that I seek to change. But there are also certain things that are just an innate part of us and that we just need them. Okay, we just need them. And the way you can tell the difference about the things you need, the things your body actually needs, versus the things that you may decide to change if you don't really like those things, is what does it like, how does it affect people? Does it hurt other people? Does it harm other people? Is it in the way you treat people? Is it in the way you approach life? Is it in terms of saying the lying, for instance, or making promises and then refusing to fulfill them, or speaking to people in a way that hurts people? Is it what some of those things? Then those things, yes, you can discover that those things are a part of you and you can seek to change them. In fact, I would argue that you do need to change some of those things, versus things that don't really harm people and things that are just things that you need, and that they may seem selfish and they may fill you with guilt in the beginning when you're not used to picking, doing things for yourself, but they don't really harm people if you do them. They don't really harm people if you do them. It might seem like you're hurting people. Like, why would you choose to be by yourself when there are people around you who need you? But if you think about it in the long run, just taking 10 minutes for yourself in a day is not really going to harm anybody. Even that child you think is going to die if they don't see you for 10 minutes will not die. Okay, you can actually have somebody else, maybe your partner or somebody, take care of that child for like 10 minutes a day while you take that time for yourself. It's absolutely important, absolutely necessary. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to choose how you choose to live your life, how you want to live your life, the kind of person you want to be, and all of that. But I'm just saying this for anybody who might be thinking in a similar way, or anybody who might be having similar thoughts or be confused about stuff like that, and um, who might want a different perspective. At the end of the day, choice is yours. The choice is yours. Thank you for watching, and I would like to know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you've not subscribed, please make sure you subscribe right now and give this video a big thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Ciao.